It is Monday, the 15th, a little after 5 p.m., and I'm just now leaving work. I'm making this video because I don't know how I feel. Now, normally, that's not uncommon for me, being out of touch with my emotions. But I found out something today that should have inspired a distinctive, or at least a very specific, emotional reaction. Now, I'm thinking because of the processes that I put in place in my life, that I've affected my capacity for feeling what I'm supposed to be feeling in times like this. What I mean is, without being exceptionally vague, is long time ago, back when I was still in Philly, back when I was in the beginning of my high school years, I met this girl. She was a friend of a friend, and I was immediately infatuated with her. Infatuated to the point of almost being a stalker. I would even go so far as to saying I was a stalker. I mean, at the time, it was the only way that I knew how to express anything. You know, I didn't know how to express my emotions correctly. I was so mentally driven that my fixation was the way that I expressed my emotional content, however you want to say it. And I was fixated on this girl. She was unique. She was different. And I spent many years trying to convince this girl to be in a relationship with me. Many years. And she'd always say no. But it didn't stop me, you know. Well, we sort of grew apart because of the distance. You know, I moved to one place, but we still maintained a connection. And eventually, when I moved out to California, and she still lived back on the East Coast, we maintained communication via letters. We wrote out letters to each other and talked on the phone. I always had this deep emotional thing, this whatever you want to call it, mental thing for this person. Well, I finally moved out to California, and I'm out here for, I'd say, probably 2 years, maybe 3. And she comes out to visit. She comes out to visit me while I was in California. And while she's here, she tells me that she loves me, which is something I've been saying for the longest time to her. So here she was in California. Here she is telling me that she loved me. And irony of ironies, I was in a relationship with somebody at the time. And I'm a very loyal person. I'm a monogamous person. So I was fucked, basically. I was in this relationship with somebody else. And here I was with this person who I've wanted almost my entire life, telling me that they loved me and they wanted to be with me. And there was nothing I could do. So she goes back to Philly after being there for a week, staying for a week. And proceeds to pretend like nothing, what happened when she came down didn't happen. That it was all made up in my head, that I was fucking psychotic about it. Which hurt. It hurt really bad. But I kept up with my side of things because she told me she loved me. She said those words. She knows she said those words. And that was the last time that I saw her, was in California. So a couple years go by. I lose contact with her. We talk again. She disappears and comes back, disappears and comes back. Then she disappears again. And this time I go to Philly because I was going to Philly for the purpose of trying to kill off whatever I had left that I still had attached to Philly, that history of mine that was miserable. I was trying to put it to rest. And I thought while I was there, if I could, I'd see her one last time and, just sort of end things on a positive note. Walk away saying what I needed to say to her, understanding that she was ignoring what happened between us, and that would be the end of it. And I got in contact with her, and she told me that she'd spend time with me, that we'd get together. And then the entire week that I was there in Philly, she avoided me. She just wasn't, she didn't go to her apartment, she didn't answer her phone, nothing, no emails, nothing. So I didn't get a chance to say goodbye, I didn't get a chance to do anything. Now, that was back in 2002, maybe? 2001? Something like that. And then, about a year and a half ago, when that guy Chris, who had come to live with me, the one who went back to Philly and ended up overdosing and killing himself like a stupid fuck, when I was talking to him before he came out to California, I had seen somebody was talking to him on his Facebook. And when I had looked it up, the person, it was Liz. But her name was different. She apparently had gotten married. So I sent a message to her saying, something along the lines of, it's been a long time, maybe we'll be able to talk now, something like that. And she got back to me, saying that she'd talk to me. And so I gave her my phone number so she could call. And she called, and it was sort of a really fucked up emotional experience, talking to her on the phone again after all these years. And she explained why she did what she did, why she avoided me, why she disappeared, her side of things, how she couldn't handle the emotional stuff, and she was in a bad place, and she couldn't handle seeing me again because she was in a really bad place, and she didn't want me to see her like that, and all kinds of other stuff. So for about 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I was talking to her again. But it was tense. She was with her boyfriend at the time. And I wasn't trying to get into a relationship with her. I had all these emotions that were coming back, and I told her that. After all these years, I've got these unresolved emotions, so they're coming back, and I don't know how I'm feeling and whatnot. And she told me that she'd stick around long enough for me to get get the peace of mind that I needed, and get everything straightened out. And she gave me her phone number, and told me that it was okay for me to call her and text her. And I said, well, I don't want your boyfriend freaking out over the fact that I'm contacting you. I don't want to overstep. And she said, no, it's okay, don't worry about it. We share the phone, it's all good. So I said, okay. And I called her a couple times and talked to her. And then I've texted her once or twice. And then there was this period of like 3 days where I had texted her 4 times. Once in the morning, again that night because she hadn't responded. Then a day or two later, texted her. And again that night because she hadn't responded. To which she comes back to me about, I'm overstepping, and she's in a relationship, and I'm making her boyfriend uncomfortable, and all this other shit, even though she said that I could contact her. So to make a long story short, even though I haven't, I said, okay, well look, maybe we shouldn't talk anymore. And that's what she wrote back. She said, look, I can't do this. We can't talk anymore. Have a good life. It's basically the end of it. So I was emotionally fucked up by this. And I had to decide at that point to just put my history to rest. To let go of all the torches that I was carrying for this person, to let go of the past, to let go of whatever I was feeling. Now, I don't know if I let go. I don't know if I fucking smothered it. I don't know if I denied myself what I was feeling. I don't know. But I know that I came to terms on some level with the situation. So today, I'm on Facebook, and my friend John had posted something. And John at one time lived in Boston because he went to school in Boston. So he posted something about him finding out that a friend of his from high school he hadn't heard from in years had died, and that he was a little shaken up because his old neighborhood got bombed, because apparently he lived right around the corner from where the Boston Marathon takes place. So I contacted him because he popped onto Facebook, and I said, "Hey man, are you doing okay? You know?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm all right. I'm a little shaken, but I'm okay." And I said, "Well, who's the friend from high school? Maybe it's somebody I know." And he said, "I'm sorry to tell you this, but it's Liz. Apparently she died of a heart complication or a heart attack or some heart thing." So now, I don't know how I feel. I don't know if I feel anything. Am I denying myself an emotional reaction? Or am I forcing myself to feel something? I don't know. But this girl who put a dent in my brain is gone. And the way that it ended between her and I was not exactly the best. It wasn't the worst, but it wasn't the best either. So I'm trying to figure out how I feel about it. I don't know if I should be in tears. I don't know if I should even give a fuck. I've never been good with emotions, but this isn't one of those situations where I'm confused about how I feel because I feel something I don't understand. Now I don't even know if I feel something. So that's what's going on with me. If you go back at my video history on YouTube, you'll find a video about me talking about Liz and the impact she had on my life. It was a video that I made probably about 5 years ago. Maybe more. Maybe 7 years ago. Didn't think she would see it. But I made it anyway. Just to tell her that I missed her and what kind of an impact she had on my life and how she was the archetype for me. She wasn't me. I mean, she was the archetype that I used for my ideal of what my idea of what I was attracted to, that kind of thing. She's artistic, creative, unique in her own way, and damaged. So yeah, that in a nutshell is what's going on.